Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
The former governor could have been the senator if he would have appointed himself Governor David Paterson.
And should have. Anyway.
He should have appointed himself senator.
Exactly. And you had a big meeting, by the way, Governor Paterson. We talked about it. You called into the show yesterday with the big breaking news. So fill us in exclusively about the meeting today with what? It was a whole bunch of other Democrats.
We had the meeting. It started about 9 o'clock in the morning. We got a great turnout. Tony Burgos, who has been a big Democratic supporter all the way back to Governor Cuomo, and I'm talking about Mario Cuomo. That's how long he's done it. Tom Acosta, who's been a big Democratic operative going back to the 60s, actually knew Robert F. Kennedy. And we were able to, I think, successfully able to get the conversation such that every other word wasn't some problem that someone had with Trump or something the administration did or something like that. If you really want to try to make changes, then you've got to change your conduct. And I think what happened in the Senate yesterday, in the House yesterday, is not where the party should be. Where it should be is looking at the affordability problems that all Americans are having, the issues of poor housing, the unemployment rate, and the dangers that may come from the big, beautiful bill, because it is going to do a number on Medicaid that I don't think anyone has been able to.
You mean we should proceed on fraud?
The bill does address the issue of Medicaid fraud, but what it also does is it knocks a lot of people off Medicaid who were not committing fraud.
So, Governor, let me ask you the 64 million or trillion, I guess, now under Mondani in New York, the question here. Because the big issue, and we were talking about this yesterday when the news broke about Israel, there were 103 Democrats that voted against funding for Israel. That was shocking to me. And today I was watching a lot of the Democratic Socialists, and one of them, Cesar, who's the progressive chair, by the way, sort of leads that group, said this is a sea change. This is a moment, and we will never go back. And AOC said the same thing. So, I mean, how do you change that dynamic when all they're talking about is anti-Israel, getting rid of the Senate, getting rid of prisons, getting rid of this? They seem like they took that as a victory yesterday.
They took it as a victory because it's a big story, and all of them got included in it. I thought it was an absolute, it's such an injustice to a country who I'm trying to figure out what they did in Israel to attract this much anger and the antagonism that so many House members feel, and it's coming from everywhere. And it was good to see today that in an interview, the Queens Congressman Gregory Meeks spoke very well on this particular point. And those who want to take that type of action may find themselves out of office soon.
Well, and you know what? Sadly, if you look at what happened with Adriano Espaillat, who was a supporter of Israel, he's going to be out of office soon. So I'm not sure who's running out who. Vito Fossella.
It was a sea change, and in a very bad way. I think they're either ignorant or they hate the whole concept of the state of Israel, or a combination of both.
You know what? We need more Governor Patersons.
We definitely do need more David Patersons in office. And where the danger is these things have consequences. Our most reliable ally in the Middle East for decades has been Israel. The amount of anti-Semitism that's growing here locally and across the world is horrible. And rather than try to confront that and combat that and prevent it, they're going in a totally different direction that will only undermine, ultimately, our national security because of our reliability, the relationship we have maintained with Israel, while everybody else has been gunning for us for decades.
What do you think, Judge Weinberg? I mean, it is shocking. And again, to see, one of the things I found really stunning, and they were talking again about this vote, that they did the same vote 2 years ago, and 37 Democrats at that point voted against voted to block support to Israel for military aid. Yesterday was 103. So they're saying, look at what we've done in 2 years.
The only democracy in the Middle East is Israel. The only truly reliable ally of the United States is Israel. Israel gives the United States technology, medical advancements,
security sharing,
intelligence.
Yep.
They're the front line of the fight to protect Western civilization is against the Islamist hordes who want to dominate the world and execute anybody that doesn't go along with their religious and political beliefs. So if Israel is gone, who's going to protect the United States in that area of the world?
Yeah, it's a dangerous when you see that, and then you see the DSA platform that came out with the abolish prisons, the abolish the presidency,
the Senate,
right?
Abolish the presidency. I mean,
Department of War, right?
No, look. Fundamentally, this is an attack on our constitutional republic.
It is. So, Governor Paterson, where does it go from here? Because again, we need more courageous Democrats like you.
Well, I think that there certainly was almost a unanimous opinion in the meeting that we had today that we can't just, have meetings behind closed doors and tell each other secrets. We've got to get out here and be part of the leadership because this is the same kind of antagonism that existed in the late 60s. And we don't need that at this point in history. And we don't need the people who are fomenting this type of anger about issues that they themselves don't even really understand. And I just think about my Jewish friends and particularly my good friend Judge Weinberg and the times that people who are in that faith have been frightened to death by some of the things that have been said. But then you realize the people who are saying them, if they get the opportunity, they would actually destroy the whole country if they could get in there.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the frightening thing, the vitriol. Like, by the way, I saw an interesting moment, John, and I thought this was frightening. It was it looked like, I guess, a far left podcast. Ro Khanna, who's been very much a progressive and someone who was, backing Graham Plattner and all those guys. A podcaster was saying, will you agree that essentially October 7th was a good thing? I mean, what a horrible thing to say. And he didn't want to say it. And then they went off on him. So, I mean, this is frightening. Like, he's not far left enough for them.
This is a dangerous, dangerous crowd. There's an old adage about if you want to repeal a bad law, enforce it, right? Because you get to see the implications in the real life. And in a way, that's what they're practicing in La La Land, is they're saying all these things. Some of them really believe it. But to the judge's point, the governor's point, if you play this out, you're going to see no more Israel, You're going to see anti-Semitism continue to grow and to rage. And it's going to be a bad thing for the United States of America. And I hope people just wake up to it and realize what they're trying to do, this agenda, and they're proud of it, is really bad for the country and people who love freedom, not just here, but around the world.
So, Governor Paterson, where does it go? Like you said, okay, hopefully they'll come out. I'm not going to ask you to reveal names or anything, but are the folks that are engaged, do they think that they can get a great groundswell? We're praying. I think not just Democratic Party in general, Americans, everybody who cares about America should be praying for this success.
Well, we did have Senator Richard Blumenthal from Connecticut on the call, and he talked about that kind of thing. And but what really, in a situation like this, and I went to the New York State Senate in 1985. At the time, there were 38 Republicans and 23 Democrats. By the time I left in 2006 and then became lieutenant governor and then became governor, we took the majority away from them. But we didn't do it by yelling and interfering with people when they were trying to speak and these just childish things that if it was junior high school, all the legislators would get suspended for some of the things that they did. But I think what we really want to do is to appeal to the positive feelings in others who want to be part of this and don't want to have to listen to this antagonistic conduct every night on the news.